Good morning and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Once again we return to our analysis and breakdown of the Quran of the Muslims. Yes, we are back once again, breaking this thing down verse by verse into factual, logical statements in English so that we can understand who or what is Allah Akbar. What does he mean by the contents of his book here? And more importantly for us, as non-believers, how does this affect us in our lives today? So, if you've been watching the series and it's been a little while since I've done one, I've been on holiday, I got hacked, I've been whinging about religions other than Christianity, pagan Roman rites, eating the flesh of Christ and drinking his blood. Now we're going to be returning to this with a new section, Al-Maidah, the table spread. This is the grace of Allah. This is the part where he rewards his Muslims. Also, he claimed, for having been so obedient to him and only doing his commands. So, with that in mind, let's carry on. Al-Maidah, verse number 1. Verse 1. O believer, obey my commands, accept that which is recited to you. The livestock are lawful for you as food, but the hunt and its prey are not lawful to you. When you enter pilgrimage to Allah, surely does Allah judge what is pleasing to him. End of verse. So, straight away we get into the confusing, mystifying terms that Allah loves so dearly to use. So, let's break it down. O believer, obey my command. So he's talking only to Muslims and he's saying the very first line, obey my commands. So what that makes us think is the things he's about to tell you now are things that you either have not been doing previously, or he's going to be telling you not to do the things you're doing. That's what this is saying. O believer, obey my commands. If you're a Muslim, you will do what you're told, is what that means. Then he goes on. Accept that which is recited to you. The livestock are lawful to you. So he's saying you can eat whatever you want, guys. You can eat everything, apart from what I've recited to you, which we're going to find out is virtually everything. Then he goes on to say, but the hunt and its prey are not lawful to you. So what does he mean by the hunt and its prey? Well, he means the hunt, animals that hunt and kill other things, you're not allowed to eat those. You're not allowed to eat what they kill. And they're not lawful to you when you enter pilgrimage. So even when you're away from home, you don't have your larder, your shops, your kitchen, your wives there to make you food. When you have nothing else to eat, even then when you're out in the middle of nowhere on a pilgrimage, making your way towards Mecca to give your money to the mosque, even then you're not allowed to eat what you find. Keep that in mind. Even though this is going to be cancelled out in a minute by something else he says. So the main thing we need to remember here is you can eat anything you want as long as you're a good Muslim and you obey Allah. He's going to give you his great bounty of all the different livestock and foods you can have, except virtually everything. You can't have predators, you can't have the prey of predators, you can't have stuff you find, you can't have things killed by other people, you can't eat pork, you can't eat blood, you can't eat food that hasn't been sanctified by Allah, i.e. Al-Akbar, prayed over and hung upside down, killed by strangulation or being beat over the head. You can't have anything killed in other ways because it's not halal. That's what we're going to find out. And then the last thing he says is, surely does Allah judge what is pleasing to him. And that's the end of the verse. So what he's saying there is Allah is judging the food as well as you, O Muslim. Allah's judging the food and you can only eat what's pleasing to him. So even though you're the one eating it, it has to please him before you eat it. Otherwise you're a bad Muslim, you're not obeying his commands. You have ignored what has been recited to you and eaten non-halal livestock, and that's bad. If you do that, he won't love you, you will be an infidel, and you won't be observing the perfect religion, worshipping, and you won't be doing this. So, book 1 and 2, he's controlling your spirit. Book number 3, he's controlling your generations, your fathers and your children. Book 4, he's controlling your women, wives, concubines, orphan girls, daughters, and anyone who you take as a slave in war. Now he's controlling what you eat. He's controlling your diet to make sure you are hungry enough to want to go and fight his jihad. That's what I think this means, but we'll find out. So, that's verse 1. That's what it means. Verse number 2. Do not break his pilgrimage ceremonies, nor his guiding words, nor those whose wish is his paradise gardens. Seek only your Lord's great bounty and his favour. End of verse. So, if we break this one down, do not break his pilgrimage. So he's referring to the first one when he said you're not allowed to eat any of this stuff, even if you're on a pilgrimage and you're starving, there's nothing to eat, and you see like a rabbit or something being chased by you see a rabbit being chased by a wolf, and the rabbit gets away because it's quicker, but then it's tired, and you think, I can catch it now because it's out of breath. No, you can't. You have to go hungry. You're not allowed to eat it. And the reason you're not allowed to is you'll be breaking his pilgrimage, his ceremonies, and his guiding words. That's 3 crimes in one. So once again, the great bounty of Allah's mercy and wisdom and guidance and truth and everything else, saying he's such a lovely guy. Feeding yourself on a pilgrimage in a way he has not described, which is the only way you're going to be able to eat. Unless you are robbing people, that is okay, because it's part of the jihad. Unless you're doing that, you're not allowed to eat. And if you do it, it's 3 separate crimes. So off your head, you're dead. If you ever do it, Allah won't love you. Other Muslims will be annoyed. You'll be weakening the angels through your disbelief. Infidels will be winning. Don't do that, is what Allah says. Then he goes on to say, don't do all that stuff. Don't break his guiding words, nor those whose wish is his paradise. Now, who's he talking about there? Whose wish is his paradise? He's of course talking about all the dead Muslims before you. So he's stacking up this crime of you feeding yourself on a pilgrimage by saying you'll be breaking his pilgrimage, breaking his ceremonies, breaking his guiding words, and you'll be breaking the wish of those who wish paradise. The paradise will not exist because of you if you do this. Off with the head, burning forever, grave torture, and the paradise won't exist ever. So he's admitting here by saying, nor those whose wish is his paradise in relation to dead Muslims. He's actually saying the dead Muslims are still wishing for paradise, i.e. it does not exist, O Muslims. So this is further evidence, even though we've gone through lots of it already, that when Allah is talking about his paradise garden, he is not referring to Eden in heaven, God's paradise, which he got thrown out of in the first book, which already exists at the beginning of the book and has existed since then. He's saying it cannot exist unless you do Islam forever, through the straight path, until the day of judgment, with the jihad, killing of all the non-believers, and this. And if you don't do it, you are saying to these dead Muslims and all the Muslim prophets he mentioned, Adam, Moses, Jacob, Ishmael, Abraham, Imran, Jesus, everyone basically, they're all waiting for paradise. If you don't do this, you are upsetting them. That's what this means, even though it's completely mad. It's what Allah's guidance says. So we move on to the second section of verse 2, it's a long one. Then he will make the hunt lawful to you, so do not let your hatred of the infidels, who by the way prevent your path to the hidden heavenly mosque, that's a new one, lead you away. Be united in righteous Islam. Fear only Allah. Do not transgress, for Allah will surely punish you severely. End of verse. Now, in keeping with the first bit, don't break his pilgrimage, his ceremonies, his guiding words. Don't screw it up for those whose wish is paradise, the dead Muslims who are waiting for the paradise to be created. Seek only your Lord's great bounty in his favour. Allah is who they're talking about there. Then he adds, then he will make your hunt lawful to you. So he's saying, once you've done the Islam bit, actually none of that stuff will affect you. In paradise you can eat anything. That's what he's saying. He's saying you're only punished by Islam here on earth. Even though he just said it was his grace, it's a perfect religion, you should love it, it's the best thing ever. He's telling you it's a punishment because it isn't in paradise. The hidden holy mosque in heaven, the hidden heavenly mosque that you are trying to get him to create in his paradise garden, that's what he's calling it here. And I quote, he who prevent you from finding your path to the hidden heavenly mosque, the hidden heavenly mosque is in his paradise garden, which hasn't been created yet. So he's saying, us infidels, by not observing Islam, because we eat whatever we want and we're not obeying Allah, we don't worship, because we don't do that stuff, we are preventing your path, O Muslim, to the hidden heavenly mosque in the paradise garden, which is not going to be created until you kill us, having done all this stuff, send us to the evil fire, and reach the day of judgment when all the people will be reunited in the resurrection, and then Allah will judge us a second time, and he will judge that only the Muslims go to his heavenly hidden mosque in the paradise, and all the infidels will die a second time. That is what he has described here and in the previous books. And then he finishes up by saying, don't let us nasty evil infidels lead you astray. Be united in righteous Islam. Fear only Allah and do not transgress, i.e. doing all that stuff he's going to allow you to do in the paradise, like eat whatever you like and be happy and not be poor and a slave. But you have to do all that stuff here. You do have to be in poverty, you do have to starve, you do have to be a slave, otherwise Allah will punish you severely. And we know his severe punishments include grave torture. Your dead body's rotting away, maggots coming out your eyes in the grave, and Allah personally is over you going and scaring you when you're dead. Like, that's what he describes. He physically does that to you for an indeterminate period of time. Then you go to hell and burn forever after that. So that's what he's talking about when he says he will surely punish you, Muslim, severely if you don't do this. And that's the end of this verse. That's what verse 2 means. This guy's insane. Come on, Muslims, use your head. You could tell this guy's insane. This is not God. This is just some crazy dude. Anyway, verse number 3. Forbidden is dead flesh, swine, and the blood of animals sacrificed not in Allah's commanded ways, and anything slain in challenge except what you make pure through the sanctification in Allah's ways, which is called dakotom. End of that part. So there's another part to this verse, but we'll break down the first bit, because these verses are like really long, considering Al-Nisa was like and you do this for the woman, yeah, because you understand, because you're a woman, you're just very stupid, so we do little short sentences for you. Now we're back to the man's bit where it's like word salad, we're going to go on forever. So verse number 3 starts off saying, forbidden is dead flesh, swine, and the blood of animals sacrificed not in Allah's commanded way. So stuff he's told you a minute ago not to eat, that stuff's all completely forbidden. Unless you make it pure through sanctification in Allah's ways. Now, isn't it interesting how the first verse 1 and 2, you definitely can't do this. Definitely don't do this. The paradise can't be created unless you do this. You will not get the hidden mosque unless you do this. Oh, the dead prophets will be pissed off if you don't do this. And you'll be a bad Muslim and I won't love you. You'll be severely punished if you don't do this. Then he says at the middle, the middle of verse 3, accept if you make them pure through sanctification in Allah's ways, using this dakotom. Now, how does one perform dakotom? Well, let me tell you. Only the imams can do the dakotom sanctification rites. So Allah is saying here, everyone who is a Muslim, you have to do this stuff and there's no getting out of it. And if you don't, I will grave torture you. You'll burn forever in hell. You would have prevented the creation of paradise and you'll be evil. But the imams, because they can do this sanctification thing, can eat anything they want at any time. All they've got to do is open their little prayer book over the food which is forbidden to you, O Muslims. In the imam's head, this is how to make it pure. And they have to look at the impure, haram food which you're not allowed to eat and go, and they've sanctified the food, then they can eat it. So we know imams can eat whatever they want. They don't have to follow these commands because they have access to this prayer which you do not have, Muslims. Dakotom. You have to starve, be in poverty, fight the jihad, you have to throw your life away as a martyr, otherwise you'll get grave tortures, horrific, severe tortures and punishments from Allah personally, then you'll go to hell forever, and you won't get to paradise. The imams don't have to do any of that, and that's described here at the end of the first part of verse 3. So with that in mind, let's get to the end of verse 3 so we can get to the interesting bit. Alright? Do not fear any infidel who disdains of Islam. Fear ye only Allah, for on this day I completed your religion, and I will fulfill my grace to you, O Muslim. Pleasingly I give you this religion of Islam, so that those who hunger for it can eat, and also not transgress. So surely is Allah forgiving and most merciful. End of verse, end of reading. What does he mean? Let's break it down. So, Now that we know, O believer, you must do what you're told, obey my commands, don't break the pilgrimage, don't break the ceremonies, don't break the guiding words, don't follow the infidels, do everything you're told to, or bad punishments for you, and you will go to hell, and the paradise will never exist because of you. You will be the worst thing ever. You'll be like an evil Satan Jew times 10. You'll be like the worst thing ever. Don't do that. Forbidden is dead flesh, swine, blood of an animal, stuff sacrificed in a hunt, things that weren't killed in a halal way, strangled, bled to death, or beaten once over the head. Those things are not allowed for you, O Muslim. Except if you're an imam and you can do this Dakaton prayer, then you can just do whatever the hell you like. You can eat whatever you like. You can do whatever you like, and you can ignore all the commands as you need to, because you are commanding the Muslims. So actually we know the jihadis who are killing themselves, doing all this stuff, worshipping, obeying Allah. You guys aren't the top of the chain. You are the slaves of the slaves. That is what this means. You have to do all that stuff, O Muslims. You have to listen to the imams telling you how and when and why you're doing all this, and they're telling you off collecting all your money at the mosque so they can spend it. They are administrating your religion for you, in the words of Allah. They're not doing any of this stuff themselves behind a closed door. They're drinking alcohol, they're eating McDonald's burgers, pork. You know, they're doing all this stuff, and it's okay because they can go, oh, Allah, Dakaton prayer, and then they can sanctify it, which you cannot do. So you're the lowest rung in the socialism of Allah. You're the kind of proletariat, you know, the peasant guys. They are the leaders, the elite guys at the top. So it is like socialism. It's a two-layered socialism with Allah at the top commanding the top row, who then command you. So they are the vicar of Allah to you. In the place of Muhammad, they're as good as Muhammad according to this, and you're not. You're just a you're a lowlife. You're nothing, Muslim, in the words of Allah. But the most important thing to remember is, after he has said this to you and buried it in the middle of a verse, he finishes the verse by saying, do not fear any infidel. Why would he say this? Do not fear any infidel who disdains of the religion of Islam. Because now he's said to you, you're not allowed any of this stuff until you become an imam. You can only become an imam once you've spent your life fighting the jihad and then survived it. He's saying, go to the jihad, do all the stuff I've commanded, fulfill my causes, says Allah in the book. His cause is jihad, bringing money back to the mosque. That's why he's saying this. He's saying the imams are higher than you. They get to spend all the money you collect. They can do whatever the hell they want. They don't have to follow all these commands because they know these secret prayers that Allah is teaching them, but not you. If you want to be like those guys, if you want to be promoted up the ranks of Allah's jihadi army, you have to do this. Do not fear any infidel who disdains of Islam. Fear ye only Allah. For on this day I completed your religion, and I fulfilled my grace to you, O Muslim. Now, what day do you think he's talking about there, O Muslim, when he fulfills his grace to you? Do you think he's talking about a day in the future of your life, perhaps, when you've returned from the jihad? No. He's saying the day when I fulfill my grace to you. After the day of judgment, when you die, when all the other infidels are dead and you have been the one to kill them and then martyr yourself in battle. Even though he's trying to make it sound like if you go away and do all this stuff, you can be like his imams. You ain't never going to be like his imams. He's even telling you here, on this day, I completed your perfect religion of Islam, and I fulfill my grace on you, O Muslim. We know his grace and mercy means you are dead. That's what he's telling you here, O Muslim. In order for your perfect religion to exist, all the infidels need to die. You need to die. The day of judgment needs to happen. Then after that, the heavenly hidden mosque will be created in the paradise. Because remember, let me remind you what he said. Don't let your hatred of the infidels who prevent your path to the heavenly hidden mosque lead you away. I.e., it is not created yet. So do not fear any infidel who disdains of Islam, the infidels. Kill them. Fear only Allah when you're running into battle. Don't fear death. Don't fear the infidel. Don't fear guns, knives, bullets, diseases, your wife, aggression. Don't fear anything else. Fear only Allah while you're running at the infidel who disdains of Islam, to kill them, to create the heavenly hidden mosque. Pleasingly I will give you Islam, so that those who hunger can eat and not transgress. So So what he's saying there, even though he's kind of slowed the pace down, he's saying, once you die in the jihad, once the jihad's over, once the day of resurrection is completed, all the infidels are dead, then he rises them up, kills them again, then and only then will the heavenly hidden mosque be created in the paradise, and then Islam will be perfected. So even though he said at the beginning Islam is the perfect religion, now he's saying it will never be the perfect religion until every human being is dead, resurrected on the day of judgment, killed again apart from his Muslims who he's going to build the holy mosque in the paradise for after that. And this can only happen if you, O Muslim, go to the jihad, do not fear any infidel who disdains of Islam, fear only Allah on that day when you die and you are resurrected. So he's telling you, straight path, day of judgment, jihad, kill the infidels, die yourself, then and only then, judgment, paradise, hidden heavenly mosque. Then he finishes off by saying, so surely is Allah forgiving and the most merciful. So he's telling you here, anything you've done in the past will be forgiven if you do this. And he's the most merciful. Once you've done it and died, once you've gone through all this whole thing and you get to the end of time and then the judgment day happens and then the paradise is created, you will think he's the most merciful then. Which means in your life, and this is the bit I want you to remember, throughout your life, O Muslim, you're not getting his grace, his mercy, his truth. You're going to be living in poverty, fighting a stupid, pointless jihad which you could never hope to win. And even when you die, even though he's promised you paradise, it's not even created yet. It will never be created while a human being lives and breathes. So for your religion to be perfected, in the words of Allah, for your paradise dream of virginal brides to be a thing, means the entire human species needs to be dead in the ground at the hands of Muslims, and then you need to die so that you can reach the day of judgment, the day of resurrection. Think about that. How can you be resurrected unless you're dead? The day of resurrection means everybody is dead, including you Muslims, and then Allah's going to be raising you all up from the ground and saying, right, oh resurrected human species, you guys are the infidels, you guys are the good Muslims, you die again, you'll die. You guys are, you guys, now you can have the paradise. Even though I said I was all powerful, graceful and merciful, I can do anything I want. Now I can give you the paradise once you've done my dirty work. Even though I could have given it to you right at the beginning without having to create and then kill off half the human species, which is what he is saying he has done and is making you do. He could have just done it. Or even he could have just let you live and then just given it to you. He even said that. He said, I could have given it to you if I wanted to, but I didn't want to. He said that in Al-Imran and in Al-Baqarah. Now he is telling you you're not getting it ever until every single human being is dead, including Muslims, and that means once you die, unless you are the last human being on earth when you die, there ain't going to be no paradise for you. No virgin brides, no great bounty, no mercy in the hereafter. So where do you think your soul goes, O Muslim? Purgatory! Allah is a Catholic. The only people who believe in purgatory are Catholics. And now, Islam. So the summary is, we know Islam's a load of nonsense already, but this is just further proof, in the words of Allah, through Muhammad, paradise does not exist and will not exist while a human being lives or breathes on earth. The day of resurrection requires everyone on earth to be dead by the sword of the Muslims, and the Muslims also being dead. Then and only then, day of judgment. Then Allah resurrects everyone, kills all the infidels a second time, because remember they had to have been dead first to get to the day of resurrection. That's what the day of resurrection is. He resurrects everyone who's dead, the whole species. Then he kills the infidels again. Then and only then, after everyone has lived and died twice, then and only then will he create the paradise with the virgins and the holy heavenly mosque, and then let all his faithful Muslims gain admittance through the door of honour. This is mental. This is blowing my mind. Guys, purgatory is in Islam. When was purgatory created, Muslims? There's a little bit of homework for you. And that's the end of this video. So I hope you really enjoyed that. I know I did. God bless you all. And I'll see you, lovely people, in the next one. Bye now. It's so good to be back. Recording without lies, Islam dies, twice a day, so I'll see you back here at 4:15 for the next episode. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed that. God bless you all. Have a lovely, lovely day. And I'll see you, beautiful people, in the next one. Bye now. Bye, 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 bye.